I'm a bad motherfucker.
Hello, this is Russell Dobular. I am filling in for Jimmy Dore, who is on a secret mission for the Davos people who actually run this show. I am here with my buddy Keaton Weiss. How are you, Keaton?
Hello, Rumblers. How are you? Good to see
right.
you again.
All right. We are now on the other side of the wall, breathing the sweet air of freedom. And we're going to take a look at our illustrious former Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, going on a truly batshit crazy rant about Russian rapists and such. This tweet was from Michael Tracy. Nancy Pelosi salutes Speaker Mike Johnson, and by extension Donald Trump, for making the war legislation possible. She says anyone who votes against Ukraine funding will have the blood of raped Ukrainian women on their hands. Real sicko stuff here, but thoroughly bipartisan. All right, so yeah, this really needs to be seen to be believed.
I join Mr. Turner and others in saluting the Speaker, as well as our leader, Mr. Jeffries, for making this important legislation possible. I associate myself with everything that's been said already about Ukraine, but I want to just focus on one particular area. 2 years ago and almost 2 weeks ago, I led the first high-level delegation to Kyiv, and we saw firsthand the courage of the people, the danger of the Russians. But let me just tell you what is heartbreaking about it. Vladimir Putin has instructed his troops to use rape, kidnapping, and murder in front of family members as a weapon of war to demoralize the people of Ukraine. I hope that our colleagues will choose democracy and decency rather than autocracy and evil, because I fear that if you choose the Putin route, you will have blood on your hands. Blood of the children, blood of their mothers, raped in front of their parents, raped in front of their children. I urge an aye vote on this and all the other bills before us today. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The gentlewoman's time has expired.
Okay. So I've always been hesitant to feed this rumor. Wow. But is she drunk? Is she drunk?
I hope
so. Because a lot of speeches that she gives, she does seem like she was hitting the hot toddies that morning.
If she's got to do it
before
sober,
she went on the floor.
Can you imagine sober having to do that? Say that bullshit?
Well, look, I mean, she has enough experience to know that the bill was going to pass, right? Once they brought it forward, she knew all the Democrats would vote for it. Half of the Republicans would vote for it. So that's why she was in such a great mood. Like she was so happy. You could feel the jubilation in her voice for like the first 45 seconds. And then she takes this dark turn. And by the way, if you vote no, you have the blood of raped women on your hands. And I hope you choose good over here. First of all, you won. You got the vote, so you don't have to take this dark.
That was a hex.
Second, they just found mass graves under a hospital in Gaza today, and you're going on about how you wouldn't want to be on the what's that?
Our ally, folks. Our ally.
Yeah, right. Courtesy of one of our greatest allies, right? You wouldn't want to be on the side of evil over good, would you? Would you? I mean, it's completely deranged. But yeah, that turn from like she was so happy. I've never seen her that happy.
Well, Nancy Pelosi, as we discussed with friend of show Dennis Kucinich, she's just a fucking criminal. She's just a criminal. Yep. She is stealing, using insider knowledge to blatantly commit acts of insider trading on a daily basis to enrich herself and her family. She's a fucking criminal. She belongs in prison. When asked when she was the speaker, if she would bring legislation to stop members of Congress from doing what she's doing. she laughed at it.
People
she
can
laughed at it, exactly.
in the market, in a free market.
They're allowed to participate in a free market. That was her answer. She is a fucking criminal.
Some of us participate more.
And not only that, in a more abstract sense, she's a fucking criminal because she spent 4 years feeding Russiagate. She never believed a word of Russiagate. You know how we know that? She voted to expand Donald Trump's spying powers while he was president. If you really believed he was a Russian asset, well, either you're a traitor or you never believed it. Why would you vote to expand his spying powers?
Or
she never believed a word of that.
You know, the spy agencies are working against him. Like, yeah, of course, we're voting to give this power, but as Chuck Schumer informed us, they don't do what he wants, so it's fine.
Right.
You're really giving, same as you're not really voting for Biden. Obviously, he's a corpse hooked up to a car battery, okay? But the people behind him, do you see that article? The deep state is kind of cool, actually, and was it New York Times?
Oh my God!
It was New York Times. Yeah,
yes. You could already see him floating it. Like, obviously, Biden is a zombie, but there's some great people working behind him, you know, and they're going to be out of work.
Well, yeah. And if you saw that whole documentary, it was such a masterclass in how propaganda for the liberal class works. The whole tone of it was anyone who believes anything other than this is a drooling moron. Because look, they're just bureaucrats who like quinoa and go to the gym and do CrossFit in the morning, and you know they're just like you. They're just like you. So you had a few people who decided to point out that we have a few war crimes on our hands. Guess she doesn't care about the blood of all the Ukrainian men they have been shoving into the meat grinder.
What are you talking about?
And you know,
I'm drunk on it.
I meant to bring it up in the last segment. Where are these Ukrainians coming from to handle these weapons? Can somebody answer me that?
They're not all.
They have what the last I heard, and I haven't heard a recent number. It had to have gone up. The average age
50 years old
for the men on the front line, is it up that high? So
that was the last I heard. Up from 46. 46.
So it's up to 50. So where are these people gonna come from who handle these weapons?
We're deporting them back.
There's Jack Spitz. Remember when it was so important to stop the Taliban from taking over Afghanistan? The Taliban took over Afghanistan, and no one in Washington cares anymore. Ukraine will be the same way someday when the money laundering is over. Right on, man. You got it. And you want to talk about sex crimes? Well, Afghan pedophiles get a free pass from the U.S. military report.
I told a lot of people about this.
There's a former Special Forces officer, Captain Dan Quinn, was relieved of his command and pulled from Afghanistan after fighting with an Afghan militia commander for keeping a boy as a sex slave. So he got punished for revealing it.
Imagine that's the secret you have, not UFOs. That's what you have to carry. I mean, holy shit.
So Abu Ghraib, a lot of you will probably remember.
Yeah.
During the early stages of the Iraq War, members of the United States Army and CIA committed a series of human rights violations and war crimes against detainees in the Abu Ghraib prison in Iraq, including physical abuse, sexual humiliation, physical and psychological torture and rape, as well as the killing of Manadel al-Jamadi and the desecration of his body.
Flavor camp?
The abuses came to public attention with the publication of photographs of the abuse by CBS News in April 2004. The incidents caused shock and outrage, receiving widespread condemnation within the United States and internationally. In other instances of sexual abuse, soldiers were found to have raped female inmates. Senior U.S. officials admitted that rape had taken place at Abu Ghraib. Some of the women who had been raped became pregnant, and in some cases were later killed by their family members in what were thought to be instances of honor killing. In addition, journalist Seymour Hersh alleged in July 2004 that the Department of Defense had in its possession videos showing male children being raped by Iraqi prison staff in front of female prisoners.
I don't remember this part of the story.
That I don't remember either.
I remember Gay Pyramid. That was it.
That I didn't put that one together, but
that's crazy. That's so much worse than. So did they release that to not release how bad it is?
Well, and here's my question: you remember the coalition of the willing? Were they on the side of evil? Were they on the side of the blood and rape of an evil nation? Because that's what she's saying about Russia. That's what she's saying about people who are allied with Russia. So what about that coalition of the willing we famously put together to fight in Iraq? Were they fighting on the side of evil? Now, a lot of people would say yes. I don't think Nancy Pelosi is among them. Keaton?
Well, I mean, to me, what this feels like, it must be their plan, like to put yourself in her brain and think, okay, how are you gaming this out? Because anybody who knows anything, and she does know enough to know that Ukraine obviously cannot win the war. And so this is either just nihilism for its own sake, or they're hoping maybe that they can win the election. And if they can keep the war going through the election and they win trifecta, which is very unlikely, but if that's what they're going for, maybe they can keep the war going past that point, right? Because if Democrats, hold the House, the Senate, and the White House come January next year, they may have enough people there to just keep these funding bills going. What's the end game? Who knows? Who knows? But I think they must be at this point feeling like if we can sustain this 7 more months, we might get another go round, right? At which point things would reset and we can go again. Of course, the next question you have to ask is, and you already asked it, Russ, is who's going to fight this war? Like, who's going to be left to actually fight? So it just strikes me as suicidal and psychotic. If there is any strategy, it's short term, get through the next 7 months and hope they can get some kind of reset. But at this point, it's just warmongering for its own sake. It is nihilistic. I mean that's exactly what this is.
Right. Even the veneer that this is some kind of fight for freedom. Who buys that?
Nobody
who believes
it.
that?
Nobody wants
Phase 4 MCU. It stinks.
I mean, what does
it's
it
worse
say?
Than phase 4. It's phase 5.
Yeah.
the great kumbaya moment, like this. These past few days, we've seen more like bipartisanship, more cross the aisle handshakes, and congratulations than we've seen in the last probably since like post 9/11. Honestly, like we haven't seen this much ass kissing across the aisle in almost 20 years. And what is it in service of? It's in service of funding 3 wars that nobody wants.
Well, we all worship
If that's not a
Moloch
country
in
that's going
Congress.
down the tubes, you tell me what is. Yeah.
Well, yeah. In the end, and there was an article recently trying to debunk this, saying the parties are further apart than ever. And whenever you see something like that, they're intentionally misleading. They're only talking about culture. They're not talking about the real nitty gritty, because I believe the number is something like 95% of the time Congress votes together. It's these very small things, men and women's sports that they vehemently disagree on.
We'd never go against our dark lord.
It's true. It's true. Who actually runs this shit? Well, as Tucker pointed out, that's why I wanted to do that segment first. It's the intelligence services. And as Eisenhower warned in his final speech to the nation as president, it's the military-industrial complex. That's who runs you. That's why, in the end, you can do whatever you want. You can do whatever parliamentary maneuver you want and vacate the speaker. Sooner or later, whoever you put in there, they'll get to them, as they did with Johnson, clearly, and they'll get what they want, because that's who actually runs this country, not you. And with that, to you, Misha.
as Jews in the walls. Isn't it bliss? The rabbinical grace soiling the mattresses. Well, let me tell you. If I were Rabbi Shmuley and diddle 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 digga digga diddle diddle dum, all day long I'd diddle little bums. If I were a Shmuley man, I'd peddle all my dildos, dreidel dildos, selling dildos with my daughter and her mum. If I were a Jewish Shmuley man, I'd be digging with a dildo in my bum. I'd wear a grotesque nose and go grab some goyim right on the nipple with a pinch. A Shabbos lap dance brace for the youngest mensch.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you hate shitty coffee? I, for one, really hate shitty coffee, which is why I'm excited to introduce to you a company that's revolting against shitty coffee, and it's called the 1775 Coffee Company. Now, I haven't had it yet because I only drink decaf. Steph has had it. Steph, how do you like it?
I really like it. You know what? I have a French press, and so I've been using my French press and totally enjoying it. It's delicious. It's smooth. It's smooth.
So 1775, the world awakened to a new era. And now it's 1775 Coffee Company is bringing you a coffee that embodies that revolutionary spirit. Crafted with passion and precision, our beans are ethically and exclusively sourced from the finest coffee beans farms of Bolivia. Didn't know that. 1775 Coffee Company's farm-to-cup journey ensures the highest quality of authenticity and sustainability from start to finish. With each sip, your palate will recognize and appreciate the dedication and passion that goes into crafting this single-sourced brew. 1775 Coffee Company takes pride in offering customers a truly exceptional coffee experience with their premium coffee collection. But their dedication to this revolution extends beyond the realm of taste. Safeguarding freedom of speech is critical right now, which is why 1775 Coffee Company has joined forces with Rumble in defense of one of our most fundamental rights, freedom of speech. Coffee that's sure to awaken all your senses, including the sense of freedom. So choose 1775 Coffee by going to 1775coffee.com/litter. That's LITTER, and use the code LITTER for 10% off the checkout on your first order. 1775 Coffee, brewed to perfection, crafted with revolution.